Air conditioning tune up. That's about it.
Everything's
Yeah.
getting shorter and shorter. You notice that everything is sped up. When you were a kid,
Oh,
spring
yeah.
lasted forever.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's see if we can get through this meeting in a timely manner to arrange your speeding of time.
I'm in no hurry.
Yeah.
So today is Thursday, March 20th. It's 1 o'clock. Just give it to 1. And this is the Kane County Liquor Commission. Clerk, could you call the roll, please?
Berman, Caius,
IS present.
Linder,
Under here.
Surges, Pirog.
I'm here as well.
You have an in-person.
There is no remote attendance requests. Uh,
Yeah, Mr. Berman.
is-
Mr.
but
Berman
it-
requested,
Mis-
but not online.
Mr. Berman, you're not there. Yes, we
Okay.
thought the meeting was a little later. And I just texted him, so he's probably still catching up with that. All right, may I have a motion, a second, to approve the March 21st, 2024 minutes?
Madam Chair, this is Caius. I would ask for unanimous consent to approve the minutes from March 21st, 2024.
I have a second, please.
Second.
Don't need one. Any
yeah,
no
all-
objection?
No objections?
Point of order, yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Minutes are approved. I don't see any public comment. Do you have any record of public comment? No public comment at this point. And I will turn this now to RESA Dan O'Brien and Jane Talish to lead us through the next part of our discussion.
Good afternoon. We are here today to.
Dan, could you get a little closer to your
I'm
microphone?
sorry.
Oh, absolutely.
We are here this afternoon to approve the renewal applications for the existing liquor licenses in unincorporated Kane County. I will turn this over to Jane Talish, who is the one who handles all of the license applications.
Good afternoon. I am happy to report that all of our applicants got their applications in on time, and they've been processed and they're ready for your approval and signature from Madam Chair. There are 2 license holders that have closed since last year, and that would be Oral Mexican Restaurant, which is on Route 25 in Dundee. And the other one is the Kane Social Club, which was in Mill Creek, I believe. Those are both now closed.
Unincorporated Geneva, I believe.
Correct.
I'm sorry, what was the second one again?
Kane Social Club, Kane Social Club, Kane. Yeah. The Cougar Stadium, the KC Concessions, has been purchased by new buyers. So they are in the process of getting all of their paperwork in, but they are on schedule and they've done everything so far that they need to do.
To intervene, our understanding is that the Texas Rangers Ball Club in Texas have purchased the ball club.
Affiliate, not the
Yes.
Rangers themselves, an affiliate.
But they will be operating under the same structure of KC Concessions, which is an Illinois corporation. They will be still operating the liquor concessions at the ballpark. So there is, the same manager will be there. So everything will remain the same except the ownership of KC Concessions.
Okay.
They are in the process of, they have provided us with an application. There are other legal, they closed last on the 14th, and they are in the process of giving us all copies of the paperwork to complete the application process. So
Okay.
everything there is going according to plan. Of course, they're not going to be holding any events for a little while yet. So what we propose today is that they would get a conditional approval pending the receipt of all of the other information that we need.
Okay, I have a quick question with that. The people that KC with the Kane County Cougars concession license, is that included in the total amount for 25? Or would
Mhm.
that be in addition to? Welcome, Mr. Sturgis.
Yes, we have included those
Okay,
within. So there is a total, there would be a total of 34 licenses now in Kane County. We are authorized by ordinance section 26-1 to have 37.
okay.
As Jane pointed out, two licenses have dropped out. There is one license that has been pending for a period of years that has never, it is the Blue Boar Inn that never, were able to get the business up and running. So they have never gotten the zoning permission that in order to operate this business, and they've never gotten the health department certificate.
Okay.
So again, they would have to reapply. So we left some room in there that we would, if we want, if new people applied, the limit now is 37.
And it is I believe is the purview of this committee to extend that if they vote to approve it. If we've reached the maximum of 37 and there's a fine dining restaurant that opens up.
What we have done over the past few years is, if that has happened, we go before the board and ask for an increase in August,
Okay.
because by then usually we have all of the applications in, and we usually know by August, and then last time we did this was in 2023 when we expanded the number. I think we went from 33 to 37 because we were anticipating these new licenses, these new applications coming in for license.
And then we amend the ordinance.
Can you-
Mr. Linder?
Can you educate me a little bit? So we have 3 available. If somebody wanted a new license, their application doesn't need to come before the board. Since there are 3 available, they would just talk to Jane, get the paperwork, get the money, the fingerprints, and do it, or does the application still come before the board somehow?
New applications do come before the board.
Mhm.
We have
For
to
the
approve
first time. The
First time.
ones we're dealing with today are all renewals that have previously been before the board, but new applications do come before the board because of the variables involved, of what kind of businesses they're going to be.
Okay.
Mr. Roth?
Rother, just to clarify, when you're saying the board, do you mean this commission as versus the whole board?
This commission.
Okay,
yes,
I just wanted to clarify that because you said. board.
sometimes if a business requires rezoning and the health department, it will have to go before the county board before we would ask this commission to consider their application. They have to get that all taken care of before this commission would consider their application. Some people have said, well, just give us, if you give us a license now, then, we may decide to buy the property or whatever. It doesn't work that way. We need a certificate from zoning and from the health department that the layout of the place is acceptable and that it has been properly zoned. We've had applications in the past, like this Blue Boar Inn, where the zoning has never panned out for them. So it's died on the vine. And there have been other ones in the past that have been the same way, where somebody had a very ambitious project that they envisioned building some kind of a business that required a liquor license, and it did not go forward.
How did changes in ownership happen?
I'm sorry, sir.
What about a change in ownership? How does that happen?
Changes under the ordinance, if there is to be a change in ownership, they have to provide the commission with notice within 30 days of the change. If there is, if we do get that notice and it's a good notice, then the license continues for a reasonable amount of time until they submit a new application with the ownership so that we can decide whether to renew the license. The new owners are required to undergo a background check and fingerprinting to see whether they qualify for a liquor license. There have been other cases where people have not provided that notice within 30 days. Under the ordinance, the failure to give the notice of the change of ownership results in the license expiring. The license is gone. They then if they want to start all over, if they want to start, they have to go and make an application all over again. It's as if there was never a license out there. If they continue in business, then the first step is that I ask Madam Chair I draft a letter for her to send to them that they are no longer in business, are no longer allowed to sell alcoholic beverages in the county, and they are to cease and desist. If they do not do so, then I ask the sheriff to go out there and serve them with a citation. And I seek an injunction from the circuit court, in effect, putting them out of business, getting an injunction that they cannot any longer sell alcoholic beverages.
Have we had to
That's
do
only
that?
happened, a couple times in the past, say, 5 years.
In the past 5 years, yes, I'm
I think
fully
just in
aware
the
of
last
those.
year, we had Old Starks. That was an issue, but they got themselves
Yeah,
together.
out by Stark's Corner, you said? Yeah, we're talking about that.
So we report too that Old Starks, two ladies are now owning in ownership of Old Starks. They apparently have gotten their act together. They have gotten their paperwork in. They have stopped selling after hours and doing some of the other things that the prior management was doing in the past. And so we haven't had any adverse reports on them, and they did get the paperwork
They
in this
did?
time. So it's possible that Old Starks has, and supposedly they cleared up the 25 building violations that they had as well. So supposedly it looks like Old Starks is going to become a model
New
for some of
Starks,
the
it's going to
other
be a
pla-
new Starks.
Yes, we're hoping.
I have a quick question. Of this list of 34 establishments, are they full liquor licenses or are they simply beer and wine? And if you can explain quickly, what's the difference between allowing to serve liquor or just get a beer and wine license?
All of them can serve liquor.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we have
If you,
none that are
yes,
just beer
if they
and
all
wine.
hold, if you look at the chapter 26 thing up there, it has the classes of licenses. Class AR is for a restaurant or an inn. Class AP is for a package store. Class AW is for a brew pub. Class C is for clubs. C1 are for small clubs. Class Ds are for the stadium, the Cougar Stadium. There is the Cougar Stadium also operates these boxes.
Mhm.
This?
And Class E are for regular bars, and Class G
Yep, I-
are for the golf courses.
Okay, okay, excellent, excellent, good.
They're all they all have different fees, and they all have different requirements.
Okay. And Jane, when somebody brings a proposal, not an established restaurant or a facility, but a new one, you'll walk them through and ask them which one they're looking for.
They have, yes, we have a lot of paperwork that we provide them with that guides them. We give them the ordinance, yeah. And they pretty much know when they come what they have. I mean, if they don't have a restaurant and they just have a bar,
Mhm.
they're not going to get a restaurant license. They're going to get a pub or bar license.
But
Okay,
we don't have just a beer and wine license available even.
But nobody, we do, but nobody,
Okay.
we don't have any.
Right.
Don't we have a beer and wine?
We do
Like
have,
a
we
wine
do have,
tasting.
we do have a beer and wine, but nobody
Nobody.
presently has that license. There are a number of different licenses for different temporary licenses for people wanting to hold samplings and to have mailings and things like that. Very rarely does anybody avail themselves or apply for that kind of license. During the summertime, we have a lot of applications for temporary licenses where people hold outdoor events at the parks and different kinds of events in different places. And we take those applications and we either grant them or we deny them depending upon whether they meet the criteria.
Okay.
Wha-
Mr. Surges?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair. I have trouble each year when we attend this, trying to, I feel, and I've voiced this continually in the past, I feel like we just don't have enough information here ever when we get these. I am interested in knowing why don't I have the list of people prior to coming in here today so that I could research these and say, okay, I would like to at least call from my district any of the local police departments to say, hey, have you had any problem with this? Who, would we like to continue this? Who has been a change of ownership or a change of management and stuff like that? And I bring that up very specifically because we had the establishment formerly known as the Milk Pail that I do believe is doing fabulous today as comparative to maybe where they were 3 years ago. However, I thought, and I'm going by memory because I didn't have this data, that there was multiple liquor license for them. And now it seems to be just one, and it's under Paseo Banquets.
And Cantina La,
Where do you see that one?
well, it's alphabetical, so
Cantina La
Cantina La Antigua.
Okay, up here.
And then the Orel Mexican Restaurant was the other one, but they closed that down.
Okay, so they're going from 3 to 2.
Correct.
Okay, but Jane, just to like saying, here's your list. The list doesn't say what town they're in. The list doesn't say who the
Yeah.
establishment
I
is.
didn't realize you guys wanted that. I can certainly provide that.
Only because
anytime.
the only resource we have is to go back to those local police departments or municipalities and say, while we're giving the liquor license, it's not just our sheriff's department. And in this specific case, it was 157 trips from a police department that required assistance. I just feel a kind of an obligation to say, well, golly, let's figure this out just a
Well,
little
these are
bit.
all unincorporated, so it would be the sheriff.
Well, how do I say this politely? In this particular instance, some of the brouhahas were large enough that
Oh, well, in that.
they needed to
particular
call for
case,
help, yes.
Yeah.
So it was surrounding communities
Yeah.
that came to assist our
Yeah.
guys.
I think
That's
why
the
we
only
voted
one.
it Up on this committee.
Yeah,
actually,
exactly. I mean,
Because that was a hot spot.
Yeah.
so again, and I am here to report that I don't get those calls anymore. And I don't think Chris or Jared gets them either. So everything that we tried to do to steer them and correct this, yay, everybody listened and bravo. But to get this, it often feels like, okay, you're just asking us to rubber stamp something because I didn't do any research on it. I don't know. And again, I don't want to research Aurora. It's not my area. I don't want to go into Batavia. And Deb, if I ever step on yours, and Mike, I hope you would whack me upside the head. But if I have, if my, yeah, get in line. So, but if ours says Dundee 3, okay, who is that in the Dundee area that we should be, worrying about? In Hampshire, we don't have any. Caneville gets a little far out for me, but at least in that with the 3, Cantina, Paseo, and who's the third?
Well, that would have been Oral, but we.
So that one's
closed.
off. So
That's
that one's
why-
off.
That's why at the
Let me
bottom,
address,
reduced.
address your concern, sir. These are all renewals for existing licenses. If there were, if it had come to our attention that there was a problem, and there has been problems with those 3 licensees in the past. If there was a problem with doing that, we would tell you that we recommend that you not renew this
That is correct.
particular
That is
license.
correct. Yeah, we don't just.
I'm familiar with those 3 ones. I took them to court and I got an injunction against them
I think we
because-
all work together on
Yeah,
that.
they were
and-
sharing a license and they were also doing outdoor music outside
outdoor
outside of
music,
a
yeah.
business hours. So I took the lady who owns those and I had to take her to court. And one of the people who was supposedly involved, one of those licenses, was not eligible to have a license because he was a convicted felon. So we got him out of the, I'm going to say, off of the business. So Jane and I look at every one of these renewals. And if there is a problem, we would definitely bring it to the commissions.
They have to apply with full forms. They don't just call and say, hey, I need to renew them. And I
Agree.
put 'em
And,
on the
and,
list.
and we appreciate the executive summary on this, but just to have a list and say, this is who it was last year and where they're from, and this is who renewing this year.
It's easy.
You
And
just
they've
want
had
it for
it
your
for
district.
14 years, and what's the big deal? They've never had an issue. Yay, us. Or do you want to just be quiet and rubber stamp, in which case I'll just zoom in and not waste my time. So, you know.
Sir, if I may, so your request is, do you want the municipality or do you want more specific to say it's Dundee, whatever?
Just their address, we can figure it out. I mean, if this is sorted by,
Absolutely.
if this says this is Dundee, or if you're doing it by township, I mean, how tough is it just to say, here's
That's,
the list?
that's
and-
fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. But I do concur, and I will not to throw Old Starks under the bus at all, but there has been a numerous occasions which have been brought to our mutual attention about Old Starks. And I have personally signed several letters to cease and desist. And once, it became an inquiry that happened like once a month. How's Old Starks doing? And then Jane would share with me, well, and I went, yeah, all right, and we're not ready yet. So then finally she said, guess what? Because Old Starks came in and I went, oh, no, 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 no. And she's, no, they've got new owners. Everything seems to be coming along very, very well. It was investigated previously,
Background checks. All came back
background
clear.
checks, but in previous.
No, Chair, I'm
ownership,
not trying to be confrontational at all. I'm just trying
But
to
I'm
say,
just
to
saying
be in
the
touch with the community.
The oversight
Yep.
is happening, and what I'm sharing with you at the staff end, the oversight is certainly happening strongly. But I can understand your concerns, saying that as representatives of that area, you'd like to find out what liquor license you are giving to your fellow businesses.
I
To make
think
sure
one of
that
the
they're aware, that
byproducts-
you're aware.
One of the byproducts of our collaboration together here, specifically with Mr. O'Brien, was the delight of having the sheriff assign representatives, if you will, liaisons to specific areas. I found that to be most helpful to say, and this gentleman has since passed, but when Chris was our rep for the area, we knew we didn't have to go search stuff out. We just had to search out Chris, who would say, well, let me tell you, this is, I know what you're reading in the reports, but they're really trying, or, oh my gosh, I know what you're reading in the reports, but there is no effort being made whatsoever. Those words are the same, but the inflection is very different. And that byproduct of having the sheriff assign an individual was wonderful from this. And I think that if we just keep that collaboration going, I think it turns out to be a better product than just saying, here, you had 3. Are you okay with those? Okay, I don't even know who they were. I drove down here. I don't know who they were. So
Okay, very
Madam
good.
Chair,
Yeah, yes.
if
sir.
I can chime in, I sat down over the weekend and pulled this up and I thought I was going to get some information attached to this, but it wasn't. That's all that was on there. And I'm thinking, I was just out of the hospital last year, but 2 years ago I was at the meeting and it looked like this and it's fine. And I certainly trust Mr. O'Brien. I trust Jane. But if something goes south, if we renew a license that our neighbors say, why the hell did you renew that license? The board has this commission has that ultimate responsibility. And so I think that little bit more information that Cliff is suggesting would be very helpful. Just locations, and to get this information and possibly with the location and any notations that you might have. If none, that's fine. But to get that a few days ahead of time so that if we wanted to drive by a place and see, are they keeping up the outside? Am I comfortable with
Maybe
it?
just
Or-
get an attaboy. Yay.
Yeah, so,
Great.
yeah,
Thanks,
so
Chris.
if I get a call from somebody who lives next to the place on the 15th of April, they say, why the hell did you renew that license? Well, first thing I'm gonna say is, why the hell didn't you call me before? But also, I'd like to be able to say, I know something about the place. I could find it. So,
Okay,
a
very
little
good.
bit more.
So
I-
we have the recommendation and we will, I think perhaps Jane, if you would be so kind then to resend this out with all of the addresses, or at least the municipalities where they are located or they have incorporated areas.
Well,
So that,
township anyway, because they're all unincorporated.
oh, correct. But it's so like Mill Creek, we know is Geneva, that kind of thing.
I have a list that gives their address and who the managers are and their phone numbers.
That'd be
and their
great.
address. So I'll just forward you that chart.
That'd be wonderful.
It's my working chart.
And since it's renewed, it's not that. And
No, it's the
I
same
do,
one.
this is Caius, with your
Yes.
permission, do appreciate looking, because you've done a good job outlining those that was special requests there, those ones, and those are the ones that we've had issues with to remind us in the past what was going on. So I appreciate that. That was
Yeah,
great.
and they
Did a
still
good
have
job.
those restrictions.
Yes.
Very good. Mr. Ruff.
One of the questions I had in the process for renewals, do we do any verification? Because they may not have told us that they sold,
Sorry. They have to provide us with their annual report that they file with the Secretary of State.
Okay.
So that
okay,
clearly
so,
would point that
so
out. yeah.
we're relying on the state judification that they're doing it correctly. Okay.
And I can just verify that Mr. O'Brien is a tiger when it comes to this. He is a fierce advocate of making sure that everything is dotted, that the check is valid. he's-
Well, and we need to,
he's-
right.
He's our guardian, and he makes sure that and Jane as well, and they have.
And then
almost
it's
daily
Mr. Caius
conversation.
and Mr. Surges that go visit each one every year to make sure.
Then we always have they just miss the margaritas
Yeah.
over there. I know that.
Just a little testing, nothing serious.
We look at, you're correct, Madam Chair. We look at the paperwork, the legal paperwork from the Secretary of State. We're also interested in getting a certificate of insurance from them that shows that they have liquor control insurance for the premises. We also look for Bassett certificates by the personnel who actually do the serving. If we particularly scrutinize the applications and the paperwork from the people who have been problems in the past, people who have had complaints, and people who haven't been able to provide the correct paperwork. And Jane and I will send applications back to people and tell them to provide the information. So the group that we have here, the renewals have been people that over the years, the paperwork all appears to be in order, and they know what we want and they provide it to us. I'm going to say though, when we have an application by somebody for a new license, then we would provide each one of you with the packet of all of their information and all of their documentation so that you can look at that in making a decision on whether or not you want to grant this new license to somebody.
Much like Tana Tap. we had them
That's
actually
normally
come.
what we do. So
Yes.
one year we hit, I think in 2023, we had like 4 new licenses. So each person got a packet, each commission member got a packet with all of their information to look at. We have made recommendations in the past not to grant them a license, or whether there are questions that needed to be answered before you would consider such a license. So we look at those. These are renewals, as Jane has said, and most of these, except that the ones that are annotated there, have not had problems that have been brought to our attention in the past. when a problem has come to my attention or through Jane or through Madam Chair or through the building department, Mr. Van Kirkhoff, I usually follow up on that with the sheriff. And as Madam Chair has said, we have sent people cease and desist letters to stop a practice that's not compatible with the ordinance. So we don't catch everything. Things may be going on, and I have to admit that aren't brought to my attention, but when they are, we immediately try to take action.
And
on
that's
that.
where the tiger comes in.
Yeah.
No,
And-
truly.
And maybe it would help that, if you knew like what the process was. So like in December, I start sending emails to every liquor license holder and remind them, hey, the deadline for applying for your new license is February 21st. Your license is going to expire on March 31st. You have to, and they know what paperwork they have to provide, but I also provide them with the list of paperwork they need. And then as they come in, I go through each and every application, their insurance certificate, their Bassett's, their annual report, and I make sure everything is in line. If it's not, I send them an email right away. Hey, your insurance is going to expire in a week. I need this updated. So stuff like that. So they don't make this list of renewals unless I have absolutely everything completed, or they have everything completed and everything's been reviewed and it's in line. So that's kind of where the list comes from. Otherwise, they don't get to be on the list. They get to be on the bottom naughty list where, like last year, we had to bring to your attention Old Starks, or in years past, we had to bring to your attention Cantina or Passio.
Or the Kane Social Club.
Or the Kane Social Club, yeah.
So I guess in the future, what you would like to have would be a spreadsheet.
Yep.
That provides information on each one of these renewals.
Prior to the meeting.
That's easy enough because you already
So,
have that.
Yeah, I keep it on my
I
desktop.
didn't mean for that to be
24/7.
45 minutes. I just.
No, but,
So
but
that's
the-
good.
one request
33.
leads to several
Just
others
how I
with
am.
in-depth.
You drove this.
Be
one to
happy,
get
we
here.
will be, we'd be happy to do that. If for a future meeting of the commission, if there is a new, an application for a brand new license, we would propose giving each one of you the full packet by the applicant.
And we
So-
always ask the applicant to
Yes,
appear.
so that you can take a look and go through it and see what the proposal is. And sometimes too, included within that would be the submissions that they have made to both the development department and the health department of what specifically they're planning to do at the property, at the premises, which is really the important part of the important thing.
And just to add to our process, the development department does go out and inspect every single one of these businesses to make sure they are in compliance with, building codes and fire codes and so
Absolutely.
forth.
If there's a quality inspection, Chris and I would volunteer. to be on
Absolutely.
that
I will put you
subcommittee.
on the,
You be careful, we'll be inspecting toilets.
That's,
So the health
Ooh,
department goes
ooh,
out.
that's a promotion.
What, I'm sorry,
are you waiting for a motion to? approve
I
these?
am,
Well,
I am.
So
but-
moved.
to address Mr. Linder, he wanted to know if the health department also did their inspections, and they do. So I put this into a program called City View, and then I send an email to development and the health department notifying them that they're renewing, and they go out and do their inspections.
Thank you.
And before I accept do I have a motion to move this forward? Jane oftentimes has people come in, business owners, restaurant owners, who come and talk to her. And she'll take time out and explain to them exactly what they need to have. If there's any questions, she's very responsive to that. And if she cannot answer that, she immediately goes to Mr. O'Brien, who clarifies any information. So if any new business wants to come through, or if a existing business has some concerns because of change of ownership, she's right there accepting phone calls and in person.
Who's this?
This is
I'm
Jane.
joking.
In her spare time.
So that's, I just want to assure you that this is a very well-honed, very, very
Oh, this is just a
detailed
definition.
process that occurs here in Kane County.
Just a quick question. Is that written up, all the processes? Or is is there institutional knowledge?
Yes, I'm
Yes.
so sorry. Yes,
Okay.
I have a binder about this. that-
Okay,
Yes,
good enough.
yes,
Yeah.
So like if you ever had new members, you could
it's
give
not,
them,
it's not institutional memory.
well, you can't use the old word because I told them we're not supposed to use it, which was called tribal.
No, no, it's not institutional memory. It is all documented because it's all legal.
All right, thank you.
All right, now may I have a motion with no further discussion? Thank you. And a second, please.
Caius,
All right, thank you, sir. All right, with no other questions, clerk call the roll.
Caius,
Caius, yes.
Linder,
Linda, yes?
Burgess.
Yes.
All right.
Okay, very good passes. Congratulations to all the old businesses or all the existing businesses. I'm reading, is there any old business? Seeing none, I believe that there's no need for an executive session. May I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
We're giving you one too.
yes, okay. I heard one aye. That was loud. I'll accept that one as a majority vote.
So the
Hopefully-
state's attorney doesn't come in to look at our closed session minutes that didn't exist.
There is.
I mean, I'm just thinking, we only meet once a
Oh, wait, wait.
year.
We're closed. The meeting has been accepted to